is Meralco's WCO in ensuring the company's compliance?
Attorney Jose Ronald V. Valles is Meralco's first Vice President and head of the Regulatory Management Office. He is currently a director of the Philippine Electricity Market Corporation and also the wesm Compliance Officer for Meralco.
Can you give a brief background on Meralco?
Meralco is the largest private sector electric distribution utility in the Philippines. It covers 36 cities and 75 municipalities with a franchise area of 9,685 square kilometers. This coverage is just 3% of the land area of the Philippines, but accounts for 55% of the country's electricity output. Celebrating 118 years of service in 2021, the company is committed to providing reliable and affordable energy for all, always. Meralco has been a wesm member since its inception in 2006.
Under the leadership of the DOE, Meralco, together with other industry stakeholders, helped lay the groundwork of the wesm by establishing relevant rules and regulations for the governance and mechanisms of the electricity market.
How did Meralco transition from a pre-wesm to a wesm environment?
Prior to wesm in 2006, the electric power industry was under a fully contracted power supply environment, with majority, if not all, of power purchased from the National Power Corporation. With the wesm, distribution utilities were provided another power supply option, whose energy prices were based on market forces. More importantly, the wesm set the stage for competition in wholesale generation, following the privatization of NPC. DUs now had more options for their source of energy supply, and this helped to a certain degree mitigate high power prices for the benefit of end users. The wesm has since grown beyond merely bulk energy supply transactions. The wesm was a necessary element prescribed in the Electric Power and Industry Reform Act to implement retail competition and open access. The wesm was eventually given the role to manage the registration and switching of contestable customers as a central registration body.
In all these, we organize different teams at Meralco to ensure that we meet the new requirements of the wesm. As a partner in market development, we also invested in technology in ensuring that we can transact with the new market management system and central registration and settlement system in a seamless manner. We work hand in hand with PEMSI and now IMOP to ensure that we understand what is expected of us, in turn be able to comply with all rules.
Why is compliance important to Meralco?
With integrity at Meralco's core, this ensures that compliance plays an essential role in bringing to fruition the many services and benefits to end users that are encapsulated in various laws and regulations. As a result of compliance, we delight customers. When a healthy practice of compliance extends throughout the entire energy sector, all service providers are aligned towards a common goal of serving customers to allow them a smooth experience in satisfying their energy needs. It is critical that each wesm participant must work together and do his part for wesm to be successful. All these so that the objectives of the wesm, especially the reduction of generation prices, is achieved.
How do you make sure that you are able to comply with the many rules of wesm and with other regulations as well?
In view of the growing demands brought about by new laws, rules, and regulations governing the electric power industry, Meralco created the Regulatory Management Office. One of the offices under RMO is Regulatory Risk and Compliance. Among its tasks are to ensure that Meralco complies with all its obligations as an electric power industry participant by providing an overall alignment and integration of cross-functional initiatives for regulatory compliance activities.
Our office at Meralco ensures that we can monitor all new laws and regulations, provide a quick assessment as to their financial, technical, and operational impact, and develop compliance plans.
To be effective and efficient in driving the whole company towards a culture of compliance given the volume of regulations, Apart from the Regulatory Management Office, Meralco has a dedicated regulatory staff for each major organization within the company who help in compliance and advocacy efforts.
What tools do you employ to ensure compliance?
Meralco utilizes its Regulatory Compliance Database, Regulatory Portal, and Ripple project. This Regulatory Compliance Database is an inventory of all regulatory requirements from the Energy Regulatory Commission, Department of Energy, Philippine Electricity Market Corporation, Independent Electricity Market Operator of the Philippines, and other government agencies. It serves as a monitoring mechanism on the status of compliance and concern of each responsible office within the company. The Regulatory Portal is a cloud-based platform to promote and develop Meralco's regulatory strategy and directions, policy advocacy, and compliance management. Through this, all pertinent rules and regulations and regulatory opinions rendered by regulatory management are readily accessible to employees. The Ripple Project is a regular infographic publication shown to employees, containing relevant and timely regulatory issues in a format that's easy to understand. This tool aims to help increase engagement from employees and improve their compliance performance.
What are the challenges faced by Meralco during the pandemic insofar as compliance is concerned? And how did Meralco overcome these challenges?
COVID-19 pandemic presents an unprecedented challenge to all industries, as it has made it difficult for companies to provide their basic services to the public. In response to the dangers of the pandemic, Meralco fortified its safety procedures, such as the ongoing vaccination program for its workforce, conduct of regular tests, provision of appropriate personal protective equipment, and use of innovative technology including Code Light, an in-house digital platform accessible via mobile phone to monitor the health of employees.
One of the biggest challenges of the company is the need to ensure reasonable cost of generation to end users amid significantly lower than expected actual demand during the community quarantine. Thus, in various dates beginning as early as March 16, 2020, Meralco sent out notices of event of force majeure to power suppliers for its ERC-approved power supply agreements currently being implemented. In true Bayanihan spirit, Meralco's various power suppliers work together with Meralco towards alleviating the impact of generation costs on its customers. Consequently, these led to the reduction of generation costs for our consumers. In addition to challenges in field operations, Meralco's meter data processes were likewise affected. Given the change in consumption patterns of our customers, the load profile of our contestable customers reflected the changes in their operations in response to the pandemic. To ensure that consumption data continues to be accurate and valid, Meralco constantly communicates with the affected customers so that they can be well informed of their situation and understand the modifications in their consumption behavior. In summary, while this pandemic has indeed posed extraordinary challenges to all electric power industry participants, we can mitigate its effects with commitment, flexibility, and innovation. After all of us are here to do our part, no matter what the difficulties are, to help maximize the benefits of wesm in the interest of stakeholders, especially the end users.